Welcome back Chessbox Worldwide. Get ready for an absolute slugfest. It's a battle for the top spot in the high-stakes 2025 National Chess League. We have the tactical powerhouse and team captain of Malago Kings Chess Club, the fearless feeder master Wanyama Harold. On the other hand, holding down board 1 for CNA Chess Club is the relentless and composed feeder master Patrick Kawuma, with both of these powerhouse teams at the top of the league. Every point, every move and every decision in this board 1 clash is a defining moment. Wanyama opens up the brutal ambitious Kmoch Variation in the Nimzo-Indian defense, throwing everything he has at Kawuma from the start, but Patrick, with his signature cool composure, finds a way to turn the tables. This is a masterclass in turning defense into a devastating attack. You won't believe how this one ends. Let's get into it. Don't forget, please go ahead, subscribe, like and comment to support the channel. In the white pieces, feeder master Wanyama Harold opened the game with 1d4. Patrick Kawuma played knight f6. Harold goes on to play c4, and after e6 from Patrick, knight c3, bishop b4. This brings us to the Nimzo-Indian defense. In c2, followed by short castling, are the moves played in hundreds of games. Harold went on and played f3. This introduces us to Nimzo-Indian defense, Kmoch Variation, with a clear plan of going ahead to play e4. That's why in this position, Patrick went on to play d5, f3, hitting on the bishop. And in case of bishop taking knight on c3, it means Harold is going to have the bishop pair. So Patrick played bishop e7, still maintaining the bishops on the board. e4, since the bishop is no longer pinning the knight, e4 is a very nice move. And after d takes e4, f takes e4. Patrick played e5, gambiting a pawn. In case of pawn takes e5, then we shall see queen takes d1 check. In case of knight, we take the pawn on e4. And in case of king takes d1, we play knight g4. We are threatening to check the king, and also we are also attacking the pawn which is on e5. After e5, Harold played d5, short castling, knight f3, c6, bishop d3 is the best move in this position, but he played bishop e3. This creates another attacking chance. Knight g4 is a very powerful move, followed by bishop moving to g1 and f5. This is very interesting. But however, after bishop e3, Patrick played rook e8, trying to centralize the rook because the king is still in the center. Bishop e2 should have been considered, followed by f5. But however, in this position, Harold played a very ambitious move. He played c5, trying to go down the board and also connect the pawns and dominate the whole board. C takes d5 should not be considered. But however, in this position, Patrick recalled one of Mikhail Tal's most famous quote, which he said, "There are only two types of sacrifices, the correct ones and mine." And it's what he went on to play in this position. He played knight takes e4, sacrificing a piece for 2 pawns. Knight takes e4, and after c takes d5, Patrick is dominating the center with 2 pawns. Harold went on and played knight g3, but however, the best move would have been knight d6, hitting on the rook. Bishop taking knight is forced because in case you try to save the rook and maintain the bishops on board, then the queen is going to the pawn which is on d5. Bishop would take the knight, and after c takes d6, queen takes d6, bishop b5. This would give Harold a very huge advantage. But however, after c takes d5, Harold played knight g3. He played d4, hitting on the bishop, and remember also the pawn c5 is also hanging. Patrick is going to be sacrificing a piece for 3 pawns, which is very fair enough. It was high time Harold goes on and plays bishop c1, still maintaining the pieces. But Harold went on and played bishop c4, which was an inaccuracy. Patrick went on to play taking the piece back. Knight takes e5. He's now looking at the pawn which is on f7. Bishop e6, defending the pawn of f7. Bishop takes e6. Pawn takes e6. Queen takes d8 should have been considered. He played knight d3. And now Patrick went on and played knight c6, short castling, queen d4, threatening pawn e2, checking the king and winning the queen on spot. Knight e2, queen e4, rook f4, queen moves back to g6, queen b3. Now all eyes are on the 2 weaknesses. The queen is hitting on the 2 weaknesses which are here. Rook comes to d8, hitting on the knight on d3. Now we said the queen and the rook are hitting on the knight. Rook d1, a prophylactic move, moving away from the battle of the queen. It was high time for Harold to go ahead and play rook f1, connecting the 2 rooks once again. But he played h3, opening up a window for the king, and in this position Patrick played queen h5. Now he's putting an eye on the knight which is on e2. Rook g4. Knight e5 should have been considered, but he played queen d5, requesting for an exchange of the queens. Queen takes d5 should have been considered, but he played queen takes b7, and Patrick got a huge advantage. Patrick played h5, hitting on the rook. Rook g6 should have been tried, followed by queen e4, attacking two pieces, the rook and the knight. King h2, queen takes knight which is on c6, compensating for the rook. Queen f5, knight comes to f4. In case of rook takes d1, then queen takes e8, and that could be interesting to play. But in this position, after h5, he played knight f4. Patrick gave up the queen and played e2. And in case the knight takes the queen, now the pawn will be taking the rook. Rook e1, queen d4 check, king h1, pawn takes rook on d4, queen takes c6, bishop comes to g5. There is so much pressure and tension on the two knights. g3 should have been considered. However, Harold played knight takes e6, forking the rook and the bishop. Queen takes d3, and in this position, knight takes bishop on g5 should have been considered. Played knight takes d8. Now we see queen takes d8. Queen d6 should have been considered, but he played queen d6, trying to ask an exchange and also stopping the queen from coming into d1. Patrick played queen takes d6, c takes d6, and in this position, Patrick played pawn g3, and after d7 from Harold, he played rook f8, threatening to come and checkmate the king. Remember, in case of king coming to g1, bishop which is going to be coming on e3, checking the king, Harold resigned the game. The match ended 3-3, which was a draw between CNH Chess Club and Malawi Kings Chess Club. Thank you for watching, and I'll be waiting to see your comments in the comment section, and I wish you the best of luck in your games. Shalom.